Hey YouTube, I want to show you guys a project I've been working on lately. Well, I say lately, I've been working on it for like 2 years just off and on, and I've gotten inspired a little bit more lately because I've got some more things I can do with it. So I want to show you guys what it is, how it works, and see if you guys want to contribute to it. It's on GitHub. I would love some more people to get into this and start working on it. And I think it's a really cheap way to build a smart power strip. So here it is. I built this box about 2 years ago. It's been running my aquarium ever since. There's 8 outlets on it. There is a Raspberry Pi on the inside. I used the 0 because I wanted something small. And then here's an 8-channel relay which gets wired up to all of these outlets, and I've got some Wi-Fi on here as well, so I don't have to worry about it, it's just on the network. So this whole thing just sits in here like this. And then to show you kind of like manipulating the lights, here it goes. So this is 8 channels. Each one controls each thing obviously controls an outlet. Here's another adaptation that I've made. It's something I added a little bit more recently. So what this one does is this is actually connected to, I hooked up a Aero Garden my wife got me about, I don't know, a year ago. And I wanted to make it smart controlled. So I basically just hooked the lights up through this, and then I added a little humidifier around it to keep the humidity in the room higher. And then if you want to put it in a box, then there's like an exhaust fan that you can add in. But basically these outlets are anything that you want to wire up. So on this one, and this is all the same code, everything. This is just configurable. I've got a configuration over here in the server files, which lets you control the title. So you'll see the title difference. It lets you control the color. It lets you control the port that you serve it on. So that way, if you want to set up port forwarding for outside of your network and be able to access it outside of your home, and then you configure the pin assignments that you want as well. So theoretically, there's 40 pins on the Raspberry Pi. You could connect every single one of these and make a huge outlet box and have just a bunch of outlets that you can control. So it's really easy to add on to it. So I also added temperature probes. So like for an aquarium, because I'm using this for my aquarium, I want to keep temperature of the water, and I have a refugium because it's a saltwater aquarium. So I have actually like 2 different areas I want to keep track of. And so what I did is there's I2C sensors that I added, and I actually added it over an auxiliary jack. So now you can actually plug in like a headphone splitter and plug in, you just modify these sensors to be over a headphone jack, and you can plug all these sensors in and they start showing up. I don't have that in the UI yet. This UI is not polished by any means. It's just something, I've been working more on the back-end server code. Again, I don't know if I said this, it's all Node.js on the back end, just real basic server, express server, and it just manipulates the Raspberry Pi GPIOs. So another thing that I did, I actually just cleared all this out, but with the ambient temperature and humidity, so I've got the sensors for the temperature probes, and then I've got the ambient temperature and humidity that you can add on too. I just don't have this one set up for this, but this is the one on the Grow setup. So with this one, I just cleared out all the data, but I started doing 24-hour logging of the temperature and humidity, which I thought was really interesting. And what I found out was how much it gets affected when the lights are on and off. So I'm not doing any humidity control. This is something I want to add soon, which will essentially be you plug in a humidifier into one of these outlets, and now you can control the outlets based on the humidity in the room. So that's useful. You could do that just to have, if you want your house at a certain humidity or your bedroom at a certain humidity, you could use it just for that and just set up a single outlet or 2 outlets or whatever you want. But that's a side note. Anyway, so what I noticed is as the lights turned off, the temperature dropped, which I kind of expected, but the humidity also went up, and the humidity and the temperature are kind of an inverse of each other. So when the lights come on, it starts dropping again. So I think this is really neat. It gives me a baseline to try to figure out how I want to control the humidity, because it's probably going to be a little bit more complicated than just on and off. But anyway, so that's my project. It's called PiPower. It's on GitHub. I'll put the links in the comments and all that. So yeah, I hope you guys like it, and if you do, feel free to do some work on it. Hit me up on the side. I've got directions all on GitHub on the README that'll show you how to set it up. I've got the directions written that even if you're just barely comfortable with the Raspberry Pi, you'll be able to set this up. You do have to do some hardware monitoring or hardware wiring on this, And if you do want to just do like GPIO manipulations, just turn them on and off, and you don't want an outlet, you can kind of adapt it for that too. But yeah, so here's the whole GitHub page. I've got pictures on there. We're actually in the process of putting together kind of a better guide that shows the build process. My brother's going to work on that. This shows you how to set it all up, how to set up the configuration, how to set it up so it's secure and have a password on it. And that's about it. So hope you guys like that.